Welcome to the Why Coaching Works podcast. My name is Monte Wyatt, and I'm here to take you on a journey into the world of coaching, exploring its many different facets and uncovering its profound impact on individuals, businesses, and executives alike. We'll be delving into real-life case studies combined with in-depth research from coaching experts to give you a better understanding of why coaching works today. So if you're ready to begin your exploration into the power of coaching, then let's get started. Before we start today's episode, here's a short message from Adding Zero's Executive Development. As CEO, you demand performance and results from your team. If you're committed to developing a cohesive, driven organization that achieves successful outcomes every single month, we need to talk. It's time to see how organizational and executive development from Adding Zeros can help. We focus on strategic planning, executive coaching, team alignment and engagement, organizational culture, and clarity of implementation. Contact me, Monte Wyatt, by booking an appointment at AddZerosNow.com. That's AddZerosNow, AddZerosNow.com. If you're ready, now is the time. I have 2 coaching spots available for 2024. Lock in your team today. Now let's begin today's episode. Welcome to the Why Coaching Works podcast, where we talk about the impact of coaching, growth of businesses, and personal development. I'm your host, Monte Wyatt, and if you're a CEO, a business owner, and executive, this is the show for you. We call our audience the Achiever because you're always striving for the next level. And it is certainly my pleasure today to introduce our guest, Dr. Terri Levine, and I want to share just a little bit about her. She's been named one of the top 10 coaching gurus in the world by coachinggurus.net and the top female coach in the world, which is pretty cool. I love to hear that. And she's been assisting businesses worldwide to create impact, influence, and income. And she's a keynote speaker, a popular TV personality, and the host of Live Well, Earn Well, which we're going to talk about. And it's a great concept, and I'm looking forward to her sharing more about that. She's got more than 40 years in business experiences and encompassing work with more than 7,500 business owners. So that's a huge impact in the world. So Terri, welcome to Why Coaching Works podcast.
Thank you, Monty. I'm delighted to be with you.
Yeah, it's my pleasure. We were just talking. It's been quite a few years since we've saw each other and chatted, but it's good to reconnect and get to know you again.
Thank you. I feel the same.
Absolutely. Well, I always like to ask, what got you into the coaching realm? What got you into the coaching business in the first place?
It's such an interesting question. I knew that I was ready for something different. I was CEO of a national healthcare company, and I just really wasn't happy as an employee. And I went away for a weekend to a Mind, Body, Spirit conference. And when you're looking for things, things show up, right? So sitting on the plane, just flying from Philly to Boston, like 30 minutes, the woman next to me and I started chatting, and she said, "What do you do?" And I told her, and I said, "What do you do?" And this is 30 something years ago. And she said, "I'm a coach." And, ignorantly, I said, "What sport?" And she burst out laughing. And she said, "No, I'm a life coach and a business coach." And I went, "Huh?" And as she described it, I knew in that moment that this was for me. I got to my hotel room, got connected to the internet, instantly enrolled in a coach training school. I resigned a few months later, had 30 clients in 30 days, never looked back, and I'm doing what I love and loving what I do now.
That's awesome. Now, what really connected you to it? You said it, you knew it right away. What was really the connection?
So I've been helping businesses forever because I had many of my own multi-million dollar businesses. So people would come to me with business questions, and I was constantly answering business questions, helping friends and family, even some people who were in businesses competing with mine that came to me for advice. I was always giving advice. And I was very involved in really helping people think differently. I started at age 13 reading self-development books and became a Born to Win trainer with Zig Ziglar, in my 20s. So I had this in my heart way of wanting to help people with their lives and already helping people with businesses. And this was just a way that I could bring it together into a profession that I didn't even know existed.
Oh, that's fantastic. There's so much need for people wanting help because everybody wants to go to a new place. Everybody wants to learn new things, but they don't know where to get it from. And I think that's a big part of us as coaches, helping people find that resource and be that resource. So that's fantastic.
Mhm.
Now, as you think of the word coaching, how would you define coaching? How would you describe what it is when somebody asks you what coaching is?
To me, coaching is a transformational process where you help clients move to what they desire and away from what they don't.
Hmm. What they towards what they desire and away from what they don't. Now, how do you help them figure out what they want, what they desire?
That's the hardest part. You know, I'll tell through a case study because I think this will help. So, about 3 months ago, roughly, this new client family member came on, and she said, "All I want to do is I want to have a business that brings in 20 to 50,000 a month. I don't care about anything else." And I said, "Okay, well, I'm not going to start there." And she's like, "But that's what I want." And I said, "That is an eventual outcome. Let's really look at, if today was your last day on the planet, what's most important." And she started with spending time with her kids, spending time with her elderly mom, and all these other things. I said, "Great, we're going to stop right there. We're going to do your life first and what you desire in your life." And that's not a 2-minute process, right? My clients usually go through a process. It's a 3-week process. Some do it in 2, some do it in 4. The end of that process, she had an entire life plan mapped out. And of course, she's like, "Now what?" I'm like, "Now we're going to create the action steps to living your life. And now we create the business that supports your life. So we're going to get to that 20 to 50,000 a month that you want to bring in, except you're going to be doing it by living a better quality of life first." Interestingly enough, she was very, I guess the word is skeptical. How's that going to help my business? In any case, now she reports, and I just saw this in the Slack channel, which is why it's on my mind. She said, "I really can't believe this. I realized I worked a quarter of the hours last month than I typically work. And I had 10 new people join my $5,000 program." $50,000, right? Now, that took some work. I always tell people that's not like it fell out of the sky. She implemented the exact actions. And what she didn't even realize is how much more free time she had in her life.
That's fantastic. It has to start with that personal aspect of it because, and I think people put that secondary. They put their career first, they put their business first, and everything else becomes, well, we'll see if I have time for that.
And I have to be totally transparent. When I was CEO of a national healthcare company, I didn't have a life. And I really mean that. I was on a plane 3 to 4 days a week, sleeping in hotel rooms, eating dinner sometimes at 10 o'clock at night. I was not taking good care of my health. I didn't want to talk to people on weekends because I was so burnt out. I didn't want to go out with friends. My husband would find me to be this like quiet person just on the sofa, like everyone leave me alone. And I hadn't been living life. I was living by default. Like whatever happened just happened. When I started designing my life, then I figured out what kind of a business I would want to run. And as you know, I'm a digital nomad. I live in Philly part of the year, in Mexico part of the year, New Jersey part of the year. This was all part of my life design. So my life design intentionally, consciously, once I started building that, I simply built a business that supported that. And I'll tell you that my quality of life is through the roof.
What do you see as the biggest change that people go through when you start with that personal life aspect? You talked about time, you talk about focus, and just really fulfilling lives. What's the biggest impact that you've seen?
So there's really two. The first is living in the moment,
Hmm.
living in, not talking about the past and past regrets that you can't go back and fix, and not doing what everyone else does. Let me make a plan for the next 3 years, 5 years. No, we all know our birth dates. We do not know our checkout dates. They don't stamp that on our feet when we're born. So instead of making all these plans that may never happen, it's truly in each moment saying, what can I do that would move my life forward, enhance my life, or transform the life of someone else? So as my clients know, I wear this little bracelet and it says serve and create. So I get up every day and put this bracelet on. My role on the planet is to serve and create, serve my clients, serve my family, create value. That's it. At the end of each day, I turn it around and you can see it has a little check mark here. And that check mark signals to me that day is complete. I have done what I intended to do in the moment. And then if I'm taken away off the planet tomorrow, there are no regrets.
Uh,
So it's a big shift.
what a wonderful reminder on your wrist. I love that.
It works for me.
You know, you're telling me a little bit about live well, earn well, and I think that's kind of the concept that we're discussing here. But tell me about that process that you go through, and what that program is that you give.
Yeah. So what I have seen is entrepreneurs, coaches, consultants, doesn't matter what industry, most of them come to me very overworked, a bit frustrated and overwhelmed. There's a million marketing messages. There's people telling them to hustle and grind. They don't know if they should be doing ads, if they should be emailing, if they should be DMing people. I mean, people are so confused. So what we do is we break down all of the marketing frustrations and literally, and I seriously mean this, take them away completely. And instead, we use a process that I've always called reverse marketing. And so, what reverse marketing is getting people to engage with you. So, after we've designed your ideal life, how do we get your ideal audience to actually come to you? So, you're not hunting for them. Then we use what I call data driven targeting. So, we figure out exactly how many people are out there that can engage with you. Then we use what I call the conversion engine. And it is they raise their hands and they come to you. Now let's streamline a process of responding to them. And the system works by generating, in my view, very predictable cash flow. We do this all through automation. So you don't have to get on calls. You don't have to do anything that feels sleazy. We amplify your reach. We ensure that your message lands in the right audience all the time so that they're raising their hands every day. And then we do personalized planning, your life design plan and your business plan, so that you have the offer that you need. So you're engaging, you're converting, you're acting, you're reaching, and then you've got a plan. And all of this equals time, freedom, and growth, and definitely proven results.
That is fantastic. I keep coming back to it, but I love that connection to your life plan and life design, and I just love that phrase, life design.
Yeah.
That's
And it came from me really having to go back and look at what is going on, like how am I living? And then when I created a life design plan and a process for myself, I shared it with just one client. She was here for a VIP day. And I said, oh, I really think this is going to help you. And I shared it. And she literally was like on Facebook Lives for a week talking to everybody about it. And then my other clients were like, well, I don't have a life design plan. And I went, you know what? I'm going to stop everything for a little bit and we're going to backtrack. And instead of constantly working on your business, we're going to work on your life. And then we're going to rework your business. And it has paid off in terms of my clients, not just income, which is definitely an area, their time freedom. They're literally, I've got one guy, Steve, who said to me, I took my wife out for lunch, and that might not sound like a big deal. And I said, why is it a big deal? He said, because she's always saying to me, can you ever get away from the computer for a bit? And the other day, he's like, let's go to lunch. It's nice outside. We're going to go outside and then we're going to take a walk in the park after. And he said her head spun around like, what? So that's what brings me joy, knowing that they're living their lives and the leads come to them through reverse marketing. They don't have to DM, they don't have to do ads. A lot of them aren't even sending emails anymore. So they're just sitting there, and every day they wake up to new people raising their hands. And their only job is to see, can I help them? And if so, they extend their own hand. And if they can't, maybe there's a tool or someone else you can send them to. It's pretty simple.
Yep. Oh, I love that. I love that. You know, I just want to reinforce to our audience, the achiever, that this is a powerful thing to look at your personal life first. Once you get your handle on your personal life, everything seems to turn around. It really does. And so if you don't have a handle on your personal life, that's probably a reflection of your business life as well.
Yeah, I agree with that. When I was all over the place in my personal life, while my business was successful, it was stressful. I was having moments where I really didn't enjoy it. And I'm like, I feel like I just traded a job for another job, even though now I own the job, right? When I really sat down and said, no, I'm going to create this amazing life and I'm going to live it. Then I reworked my business right into that, and literally everything changed. Like, my husband is amazed at how much free time I have. I work about 10 to 15 hours a month. And the company is growing, right? So it's like, what? The truth is, I just found ways to have more and more people reach out to me versus me reaching out and trying to find people. And then all I do is help them. It's pretty darn simple. And when I'm living my best life, I'm showing up as the best coach that I can be.
Absolutely. So if you were to give our audience, the achiever, one tip on how to get closer to their life plan, their life design, what would be their first step or that first tip that you'd give them?
So the very first thing that I'd love for them to do is to sit down and really write out what their priorities are, as if you were going to be leaving the planet in the morning. What would you like to do prior to that? Who would you like to spend your time with? What would you do? If somebody said to you, you have 24 hours, make the most of it. Who would you be with? What would you say? What would you do? And then literally write all of that down and begin to ask yourself, how can I start incorporating that more? How can I incorporate that more? I have spent more time with friends and family over these last 20 something years than I ever thought possible. And if something comes up, family always comes first. My client family members come second. I have the time for that now, which I did not have before.
That's fantastic. That's fantastic. I love that. When we talk about why coaching works, I want you to share maybe an example or two of how you've really helped your clients transform their business. Let's talk about two things. We talked a little bit about transforming their life, but transforming their business and their life, and just how the coaching process really has worked for you. It's asking questions, it's challenging them, it's thinking about. But I want to hear your way of thinking of how you walk people through that and what a couple examples are.
So first, I'll just start off of what to me is coaching and how do I handle coaching. I want to honor people to live their life at their fullest and to be as successful as possible in their business. So as I meet with people, I really listen. What is a full life for them? What is a successful business for them? Not my definition. What skills do they need? New skills that will help them live their life better and create a better business. What do I need to help them with to improve their financial and personal results? And how can I help them build confidence in both so that when they have their new skills and they have their confidence, they don't always need me. Okay. I don't want them to feel dependent on me. So I'll give you two examples. The first one that comes to mind, one of my favorites, is this happened literally 30 years ago. Mia Redrick walked into a room where I was doing a seminar and came up to me on the break and said, I have this business concept. I took it to SCORE. I took it to 5 coaches and everyone said, it's a no, it will never work. Can I ask you what you think? And I said, tell me about it. And she did. And I said, I'm all in. Like, not only do I think that could work, I know it could work. So if you want to come on board with me, is what I'll guarantee you. If within a year you don't get the results that you want, I'll literally refund every dime because I believe in this. So she came on board within a very short amount of time. She had a podcast. This is going back almost 30 years ago. She was like one of the original podcasts. She started blogging. And she put together this little community. It started little with a handful of women that she was helping. A few years later, I helped her get a contract with Johnson & Johnson and Panera Bread. Several years later, she had her own television show and a best-selling book. Her husband became deathly ill and he needed a kidney or he was going to pass away. She had created so much income that number one, she was able to, in a way, buy a kidney, got higher at the top than other people could. That was number one. Number two, stay home and care for her husband for 2 full years and her small children. Fast forward to where she is now. She works 10 hours a month. Her company is averaging 3 million a year. She has a second home in Puerto Rico. And she has this huge, and I do mean huge, community of women who love her and adore her. So that's one. I'll give you one more. This gentleman, Ken, he had a very successful business when he came to me. The only thing was he had the hustle and grind mentality. And if he wasn't accomplishing a lot and working all day and sweating, he felt like he was doing nothing. So we changed his life design. He spends way more time, not just with his fiance, which is great, with his 86-year-old dad, who he goes to the gym with, which I think is so freaking awesome. I want to be his dad when I grow up. And the second thing is we took all of Ken's programs and systems, we automated them, except for his very, very high ticket programs. So now every single month, the money is rolling in. He doesn't need to work a lot of hours. And he is starting to get invited to do a lot of talks in very, very large conferences around the world. And that was his desire. So when I look at those, I'm like, coaching works. You can help people literally transform and do this for the rest of their lives. That's why I love it. I get passionate about it.
Oh, I love those stories. Listening to those stories, how do you get people excited about seeing the future? You're changing their view, you're changing what they can accomplish, getting people to think so much bigger than they've ever thought before. How do you get them to that point?
So part of the life design process is creating your own rules, priorities, and boundaries. Most people don't live by rules. I actually live by rules. They're on my phone, they're on my computer, these are Terri's rules, and I don't violate my rules, and my boundaries are that no one violates my rules. So I'm very protective of my time, my health, my energy, my relationships, very protective. From those rules, then we start to create a visioning process. And it's a pretty detailed visioning process. And no, it's not just a vision board. Anyone could cut out pictures in a magazine and slap them on a wall. It literally is going deep on your vision. It's seeing it, it's feeling it, it's tasting it, it's touching it, it's smelling it. We make it real. And then I have a process where you are rehearing it and seeing it every single day. Some of my clients do this 5 times a day. Many of my clients who've mastered it do what I do, which is quickly in the morning. It becomes so ingrained in you that all you're thinking about literally is, I want more of that. I want more of that. And then finally, we plan the action steps. So what do you have to do if you want more of that? If you want to spend more time like Ken does with your dad working out, what do you need to do? Well, he needed to join the same gym as his dad. He needed to make sure at 2 to 3 o'clock in the afternoon when his dad went to the gym that he was available to go with him. So then it's putting the actions into place.
Oh, that's fantastic. That's probably one of the most important parts is the action, because we can talk about everything that we want. We can talk about dreams that we might have or where we want to spend our time. But if we aren't willing to take the action, we're not going to make progress.
And that's part of the quote problem. When someone wants to come on board, we give them an assignment before we take them. And people are like, what? And I'm like, I'm testing to see if you're an implementer and an action taker. Otherwise, I don't want you to invest a dime of your hard-earned money into coaching because it's not going to change anything. So we give people this little task to do. We can see if they did it or not. And if they do it, and if they do it with speed, I know that I can help them.
Oh, that's a great test. And how many people don't pass that test?
And it's interesting. Right now we're having, I think it's 9 conversations with prospective clients. I saw 3 of them instantly do the task. The rest of them are sitting.
Yeah.
And it's human nature to put things off, to procrastinate, not to implement. That's all well and good. I just don't want them to invest then, because it's like this. Is how I think of it. Someone goes on a diet and then they go out with their family and they have pizza and they have beer and ice cream, and then they go to the diet. This diet doesn't work, right? Well, maybe it did, and maybe you didn't work it. So I want to make sure that people don't think it's a magic bullet coming out of the sky. It's not law of attraction and money's going to fall through the roof. The law of attraction, the word attraction is the word action built right in. So you've got to be someone who's going to step up and take action.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You've got a lot of experience. You've coached a lot of people. I'm guessing that you've been coached yourself. And I would love to hear how coaching has impacted you personally, in your life and your business, and what that means to you.
So this is probably going to sound crazy to most people. I have 9 coaches, 9. Okay. Why would I have 9? Well, one of my coaches is doing billions with a B. Okay. I'm doing millions. I want to learn from somebody who's way ahead of me. So that's one of my coaches. I have a humor coach. I live in Mexico, as you know, part of the year. I am fairly fluent in Spanish, except the Spanish I speak is Castilian. So I don't speak the same way that my Mexican friends do. So I have a coach that's helping transform my Castilian to be more intelligible to my Mexican friends. I have a relationship coach, a health coach, a strength coach, I could go on and on. A minimalist coach. Why? Because coaching became so important to me that I realized, number one, the bulk of my income, literally multi-million dollars, has come from the coaches that I have. That's number one. Number two, I know that I need guidance. I know I need accountability. I need support. I also know what areas of my life are really important to me because I did life design, and what I want to improve, whether it's relationships, whether it's health, whether it's the kind of Spanish that I speak, right? And so not only has coaching helped me in that way, I wouldn't be in the health that I'm in, with the body that I currently have, with the relationships I have with the clients, and certainly with the income or anything else, if I didn't believe in coaching so strongly and invest in 9, 9 of them.
People are listening to this going, how do you have time for 9 coaches? I barely have time for myself. Tell us about that, because I think that can be overwhelming for somebody when they hear that.
So my one coach, whose name I'm not allowed to use, is a billionaire, recognizable name. You would all know who this person is. So he gets paid $100 grand a year for me to fly. This is going to be a hint, to his private island. And I spend 4 hours there. That's it. Never speak to him again the rest of the year. Now, you might think that's insane, except the first time I did it, I got $1 million idea, came home and implemented it. And literally my company did an extra 1.2 million. So would you give me $100 grand if I give you back 1.1 million? I think that's a good gamble. My Spanish one is the one that takes the most time because I do have a lot of homework and a lot of lessons to do. My others are usually done by quick video. So my strength coach, every day I do my workout, it's videoed, it goes to him, he gets back to me. My nutrition coach, that's all done in an app. So I don't do a lot of the traditional coaching where let me talk to you for an hour or half an hour. First of all, I don't need that. Second of all, for me, that's a lot of time wasted.
Yep.
Because there's a lot of chit chat and I just don't want that. Give me what I need. I need results. Some of the coaches have automated programs that I go through. So in terms of time commitment, it is out of my month, it is about 2.5 hours a month.
That's fantastic. It's really about impact. It's not about time. And I think people get caught up in, well, what's your hourly rate? What's your this? What's your that? No, it's not about a rate. It's about the impact that we as coaches can have on your life and your business. And it's much bigger than just that return on time.
100%. I couldn't agree with you more. I say to my client family members, if someone could give you the results in just a few minutes versus I have to talk to you every week, It's up to you. What would you prefer? I don't personally need to chat with someone weekly. Sometimes there is nothing to chat about weekly. However, I'll just use my strength coach. Something happened last week where I was not able to use my left hand because I had an injury. So I left him a message on the app and I'm like, hey, I can't really lift very much. My left hand isn't usable. 2 hours later, he said, I just modified all your workouts. Go do them. Okay, there I am. So I want somebody who's more there when I need them.
Yep.
I'm not dependent on them, and I really don't need to have this for me, not for everyone. I don't need to have weekly touch-ins.
I love that. It's totally about impact and the results that you're getting. And it sounds like you've had some amazing coaches. So I love to hear that.
Yeah, I have.
What is a suggestion or a tip that you would have for someone that is considering being coached?
So first, I would check in with yourself. Are you open and curious? Are you going to take action and implement? Then, when you're looking for a coach, find someone who is not only doing business the way you would love to do it, who is living life the way you want to do it. And I'll use an example here. I hired many years ago, many years ago, 30, a speaker coach. Loved him, learned some great things. However, when I got behind the scenes with him because we became friends and I spent time at his home, I saw that he did nothing but work. I saw family outside his door going, Dad, can we just eat together? And I was like in tears. This is how the man lived. So you've got to find, and I no longer had him as my coach. I'm like, I
Yep.
don't. So you've got to find someone who is also living the kind of life that you want, and then who fits your style, right? This is the way that I would want to be coached. And then just jump in. Sitting around consulting crystals or asking a life partner or somebody else who doesn't even know who you're talking to, stop, right? I go with my gut. I talk to someone, I look at their life, I look at their business, I'm like, I want that. And then my credit card goes out instantly. And I want to speak to that for a minute. I really do believe we're the mirror for what our clients do. We're the
Yeah.
mirror for how we live. If I'm fast with a credit card and make a decision to hire a coach, guess what? So are my clients. If you're sitting around going, oh, I really should hire a coach, I might need a coach. Yeah, let me think about it. Let me go talk to 10 people. You know what? When someone's ready to hire you, they're going to behave the same way. So I model what I encourage people to do. When you find the right coach and you go, oh, this person feels good, you just bring out your credit card.
Absolutely. I love that. I call that congruency as well. We've got to be congruent and we reflect that and we attract that.
Yes, agreed.
Oh, this has been a fantastic conversation. I really appreciate your insights and your energy and your focus, and I can see how you make a huge impact on your clients. So I love to hear that. Now, if someone wanted to get a hold of you, what's the best way to contact you?
So I am totally open to direct messages on Facebook. My Facebook personal page is the Terri Levine. And I'm also open to emails as long as you just say, hey, I heard you here with Monte. And that's Terri, Terri at Terri Levine, Levine.com. And it's me personally responding to you. People are using a lot of automation to respond to people. It's truly me.
I love it. I love it. Well, the last question I always like to ask is, just the name of our show here is Why Coaching Works. Why do you think coaching works?
I think coaching works because most of us have so much clutter in our heads, whether it's in business or in life. There's just so much that we have to sort through. And coaching helps us really quickly get to what's important and then helps us achieve what's important. And I have not found anything that works as well. I really have not.
Absolutely. Oh, Terri, thank you so much for your time. I really enjoyed hearing your voice again and having the interaction. And to our audience, the achiever, I just wanted to reinforce a couple key points. Coaching is a transformational process, and it starts with a life plan, life design, not just about your business. You need to have that life the life design, and I just love that you write out your priorities of where you want to be, and that's where it starts. So I think that's a powerful thing. So, and again, we have to model it. And so I really appreciate your time, Terri. And any last comments you have for our audience?
Certainly, live well, earn well.
I love it. I love it. Well, thank you again to our audience for joining us today. Make sure you like the show, make sure you subscribe, and look forward to joining us on our next episode. Thanks for joining us today. Bye-bye. Thank you for listening to the Why Coaching Works podcast. I hope this episode has helped you see the individual, business, and executive impact, growth, and development that coaching provides. Please take a second to give us a thumbs up and subscribe. Each review helps me impact more people just like you and make a difference in this world. See you on the next episode of Why Coaching Works.